WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top flight journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish that bright future we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another Q&A, TACT-EAGLE. We thought the last one did so well. You guys gave us some really interesting questions that we thought we'd do another one. And, you know, with so many international breaks these days, I think we're probably going to do about 10 a season by the seems of it.
The first one was so nice, I had to do it twice.
Exactly. Anyways, JC, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Looking forward to doing this one because it's not going to be it's not going to be as depressing. This is sort of one of them ones where we're going to be talking about certain things, trying to make ourselves feel better. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think I don't know how
doom and gloom lately. I can't lie.
Yeah, I think it's been a bit of a weird one. I think since the last one, I don't know how you feel, but like for me, I kind of feel like obviously we did so well against Spurs. And you're hoping like we push on. And to be fair, how we didn't beat Wolves, I don't know. And then obviously all of their injuries was probably a huge contributing factor to the Fulham game. So it's been a bit, I don't know, like it's kind of like it was like nearly there and then it came away and then, I don't know.
We'll talk about it, but I think that injuries are going to it plays a massive part into a lot of what we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely, 100%. And before we go on to the first tweet that we got in reply that we put up the other day, big up Chairman. Chairman's got a great question there, which we will come back to about our three centre halves. Question to go with how we ever get better at holding the ball. We will look at that after we've answered the tweets. Well, maybe not all the tweets. We might save one tweet for the end. Dan and JC, what the hell is going on? Dream Team, big up yourself, Alex. Thanks for tuning in as always. Big up Mikey. Big up KJR. Thank you for tuning in. Next one's February, so that'll be perfect. We'll have 3 months to be miserable again. We'll have another Q&A.
Have to be miserable.
And big up Rich. So, tweet number 1 is from VT Ebbs fan. If you're in the chat, give us a shout out because I don't think I've seen your name.
I'm sure this is Alex. I'm pretty sure it's Alex.
Oh, is this Alex?
I
think
so.
Fair. So, what have you noticed in more detail than just vibes? And I love that use of vibes about closing games with Munoz as the right 10 and the press trigger. So, I had a think about this, and I've got my thoughts. JC, what did you kind of think?
So I think that the reason why he's done this is because I feel Munoz he just doesn't stop running, and I thought that was one thing that I think is very important. Obviously, you need someone up front that's literally just going to run in behind, and I can't lie to you, he's a fullback. But he's offside so much. You might as well play him up like a little bit higher so he can actually run against the back line instead of just being offside because he's run forward way too early. I think the energy that he brings, also having a defender up front as well, if we're trying to play this high pressing game, you want someone that's a little bit more defensive minded, I think. So he could like read the defender. Like he's a defender himself. He knows that, if I'm in this situation, I know that I'm going to try and cut back on myself. And he might gamble on the fact that the player might cut back and then nick the ball that way. We've done it a few times. And also looking at his Club Brugge days, it wasn't Club Brugge, it was Genk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The amount of goals that this guy scored from nicking the ball in the box from fullback is crazy. Because he used to do the underlap, and that's what he loved to do. He was sort of more centrally in that number 10 role, let's say, anyway. He was just going up, and because he's underlapping, he's going through the heart of the midfield, let's say, and sort of ending up in our right-sided 10 role. So I think it's pretty smart from Glasner, because you're having someone who is defensively minded, who likes to run that channel anyway, even when he's not even playing in that position. And I think that he's always looking for a pass. He can score goals, as we've seen in the Belgian league. And also, I think that what we have seen, it's actually worked, because he's quite confident on the ball. He can run with the ball when he needs to. And granted, his left foot isn't brilliant. And I don't think anyone's going to doubt that his left foot's not brilliant. But he'll still shoot, even with his left foot, even though he knows he's not left-footed. So he's able to take on his man. I don't think it's that actually that bad. Bearing in mind the injuries we have and the kind of personnel we have, I don't think it's the end of the world. It's probably quite a smart decision from Glasner. And, looking at the subs that we have, I think it's probably the best thing we could do out of a bad situation.
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly what my thoughts as well. Yeah, I mean, let me just get a quick, just to show the, this. I don't know, can you guys see that? Is that all right on there?
I'll put it up. Oh, well, you're massive.
Whoa. But as you can see here, this is Munoz's heat map in his final season at Genk. As you can see here, there is a lot of red on that in that inside channel that JC was saying. And, you can see how often he did do that underlap and the amount of touches in that box as well.
Last season as well, just out of interest.
Let's see. So, nice. What happens when you zoom in? So this is Premier League 2023. So yeah, same thing. You can see that underlapping, and that's because, we all know, but Elise loved to hug that touchline and then, chop inside and then be inside, and then basically that space that dragged that defender over. Then Munoz then moved into it, and then that's why he had so much space a lot of the time. And I think that's why in the fleeting time that we saw Sarr on that right-hand side, I think it was against Spurs, that I thought we looked very good. And I think Munoz being in that 10, like JC said, he's used to being in that sort of inside half space. He is very attacking. For me, I think it's kind of like a last kind of ditch scenario. And I think if you look at the player that's come on twice, so against Wolves and against Fulham, it's been Klein who's come on for an attacker. So Klein has basically been the one that's held that width, and then Munoz has been that person on that inside right side half space. And yeah, I mean, obviously Klein's decent, but he's all right. But yeah, that's what I think on that anyway. Was there any other part of that question before I move on? Oh, the press trigger. I mean, personally, I didn't notice anything massive with the press trigger when, at least not from memory from Fulham, and not. I did have a quick watch back of the Wolves game when he did move into that position. I don't think it's necessarily for pressing. I think it is just like a tactic, kind of like a last
front.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's all it is. I don't think it's because he's necessarily great at it or anything.
I don't think there was anything different to the press trigger. I think that it was exactly the same. I think the only difference is that Munoz is actually very good at pressing. Even from fullback, we know that he's pressing the goalkeeper once or twice a game, even from fullback. Yeah. So, just having that up front is probably putting their backline under a little bit more pressure. I don't think that we change anything tactically. I just think that because of the kind of personnel he is, I think it puts opposition defenders or trying to play out from the back under a bit more pressure than they would be if, I don't know, they were being pressed by Kamada, let's say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. Let's move on to tweet number 2. Does Glasner actually have any history of significant youth development and using them in high-profile games? We are yet to see it. Well, have we? I don't know. JC, what do you think?
I think you have to look at it in context. Glasnow's worked in a Frankfurt team and a Wolfsburg team. Before he got there, they were already very big clubs, I would say. So before and after, obviously he got Wolfsburg sort of mid-table-ish, then got them into the Champions League. That's like an incredible piece of work. But in the process of him getting there, he has developed players, but he developed players that were bought in. So he has not really had a track record of taking someone from the youth academy of that team and then promoting them into the first team, and then they go on. We haven't seen it very often, but when you have seen it, the players have been like, I would say they've been successful, let's say. So I would say the first one is probably Lindstrom. They got him from, I think Frankfurt got him from Bromby's academy. Then they bought it for like, I don't know, 500k, something like that. And then Glasner had him in like sort of, getting like I think he had his debut. Let me grab it quick. I've got the thing here. He gave him his debut when he was 20 years old, and it was in the game against Dortmund. They did lose 5-2, so it was sort of a similar situation to when Agbenone came on, let's say. But Lindstrom got some good numbers out of that game. He was the second highest chance creator, even though he only played for 12 minutes. And then games coming after that, so he played 12 minutes, and then the next game he played 35 minutes, and then the next game he played 20 minutes. And then if we just skip on a little bit, he got his first start for Frankfurt against Mönchengladbach, and they won 2-0. So he can develop people as long as they've been brought in and then they're young, and then he can develop it. What that also tells me is that he's got a good eye for whether the youth academy is good enough or not. And I think that's probably where we may need to be a little bit more critical and a little bit harsher thinking on our youth academy. I think that it's incredible that Agbenone, Kapora, Deveni, who else? I think he's given someone else's debut as well, hasn't he?
He has. Oh, yes, he has.
Who is it? Premier League.
Oh no, sorry. Did you say 3 names? Because I got Deveni, Deveni, Kaporha, and Agbenone.
Yeah, and if you want to be a bit more critical as well, Chadi Riyad as well. Still.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So even though we bought him in as I guess a senior, like I won't say a senior player, but someone who's already played men's football, he's brought him in young, and now he's trying to promote him into the first team. Obviously, very unfortunate with his injury. I think if he didn't get injured, we probably don't get Chalobah or something like that along the lines happen, or maybe maybe Anderson stays potentially and we don't get Chalobah. Something would happen basically. But he's very good at developing players that are bought in that are good and then putting them up. So already giving out 3 Premier League debuts is huge already. I think we will start to see this if he really trusts them and he starts playing them more. I think right now it's really hard to say whether he will develop these kids or not, because literally they've got 1 or 2 appearances. Like Agbenone's got 2 appearances and Kapora and Deveni got their debuts. I think that it's also massive to say that Deveni got his debut as a start as well. I thought that probably means, in my eyes, that Glasner probably sees Deveni as the top of all 3 of them that got their debut. So I don't see why he wouldn't do it, bearing in mind the injury situation that we're currently in. I don't see why those guys wouldn't be playing, but I think it's too early to say whether he will develop them further or not, or whether they're just a stopgap. I think it's too early to say, but I don't see why not. Because what we have seen from all 3 of them, even though Kapora hardly played, Agbenone did a really nice debut against Forest, where he was very forward-thinking, and Deveni, to be fair to him, he was playing in midfield on his own until Decore came on. So I think he made a good account for himself, so I don't see why we can't.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, yeah, I think all three of those players, I think they've all accounted themselves. I know Kapoor only got a little bit of time at the end of Fulham, but I think that's the thing. The intent is there, like the attacking intent.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, here's I got some interesting juicy stats for you.
Oh, one more.
How many? Oh,
He gave a certain Maxence Lacroix his debut into men's football for Wolfsburg. So from another person's academy, put him straight into the first team, and it was a 0-0 draw.
I'm trying to think where they got him from. I think it was Auxerre they got him from, because I think that's what I saw earlier. But just to add to that, he's also given debuts for Wolfsburg or Frankfurt, whoever it was. I didn't look at him when he was in Austria for that particular bit. But Omar Mamouche, who's playing very well this season.
That wasn't a debut. Let's say he'd played before.
Had he?
Yeah, he played because I saw that and I was like, oh wow, he's doing sick.
Or did I? Oh, maybe I mixed up. Maybe it was a season before he got his thing. Then, sorry, my bad.
I'll let you know, but I'm pretty sure he played for someone before.
Xaver Schlager, as in when I say debut, I mean like debut for the team, as in like Frankfurt or Wolfsburg.
Yeah,
I mean, I might mix
for Stuttgart on loan before Glasner actually put him into the first team.
Okay, fair. But also Schlager, who plays for Austria, seemed like he got his debut there. Knauf as well, also got his debut. Luca Pellegrini got his Bundesliga debut under Glasner, and Randall Kolo Muani also got his Bundesliga debut under.
He ended up going to PSG for £70 million. By the way,
is that much? Oh, geez, yeah. I didn't know it was that much.
Also, he was at Fulham not long ago. Kevin Babu as well. He gave him the debut at Wolfsburg.
Nice.
And then just skip into the next page. I don't think there's anyone else there. No.
Cool.
Those are the highest profile ones.
Nice. But I mean, yeah, some quality names there. And also, I couldn't believe this, right? How many players, right, do you think we've given from who played in our academy for any length of time? Obviously not like, arrives at 21 and gets put in the under 21s, whatever. I mean, like, actually like spent some development time in the academy. How many players do you think we've given starts to in the Premier League since we got promoted?
Starts?
Yeah.
Mitchell.
Yeah.
Wilf, technically.
I didn't count Wilf because, he went to United, didn't he? And then... So I didn't count Wilf.
Yeah, Mitchell, Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
Did Pierre get a start? I don't think he did. I'm going to say 2.
So it's 5. Since promotion, right? So Wan-Bissaka, Tyron Mitchell. 1 we were talking about earlier, Devaney.
Yeah. Yeah.
Raksaki. Do you want to guess? Get? Yeah.
Are you sure?
He started. He started against Chelsea, I think.
Okay.
Well, let me double check what his start was. But when I looked back, I'm fairly sure I did see a start.
I can't remember him starting for us though, ever in the Prem.
Yeah, he made his first. Oh, sorry, his final home game of the 21-22 season against Man United.
Okay.
So even in times like that, right, we have 5 players, and do you know who the last one is? Again, another forced one, I will say. In recent times, Joe Whitworth.
Oh yeah,
so
he played well actually. To be fair to him, and it was Brighton, wasn't it?
Yeah,
debut.
But as a baptism of fire, isn't it? But
yeah, well.
So 5 players from the academy, and technically you probably shouldn't count Devaney because he actually played senior football before coming to our academy. That's 5 players in over 10 years. So we're all saying we want youth and stuff like this, talk about our academy, but that is the reality of what our academy has outputted in the last 12 years.
And let's be real, in under a year, Glasner's already given out 3 debuts and 1 start already in that broad case study, let's say.
Yeah, and just to extrapolate that to any kind of minutes, so it could be pity minutes at the end of the game or whatever, is Premier League game. Roughly, how many players do you think we've actually given from our academy a
debut?
Just a Premier League debut? I didn't include Johnny Williams or Wilfred Zaha. Because Johnny Williams actually never started a game for us in the Premier League, believe it or not.
I'm going to say 14.
Oh, you're so close. 13. Because I'll give you that because technically Johnny Williams. So, 14 then. Yeah. So, and 3 of those have been under Oliver Glasner. 3 were Patrick Vieira, Ozo Whitworth, Raksaki. 4 of them were Roy, Wan-Bissaka, Luke Dreyer, Brandon Pierrick, who's obviously at AFC Croydon now, Tyrant Mitchell. We actually have a Frank de Boer as well, Levi Lumeka, Sully Kai and Hiram Boateng, who make up 12 and 13.
I remember when there was a point in time where Zaha was off it, and then there were some people saying, "Oh, start Kai. Kai's he's bloody awful."
Yeah.
I don't remember Lumeka ever playing for us, though.
Oh, it was like the end of a game. It was against Burnley, actually.
Did Ladapo ever play for us? Because he's at Ipswich, or he was at Ipswich.
He did play for us, but he didn't come through our academy. We bought him from non-league.
Uh-huh.
But I've also got, just to talk a bit more about Oliver Glasner, I've actually got a spreadsheet. Ooh. So, as you can see here, I've got the seasons that he was at. So SV Riyadh. These seasons I couldn't get because I think they were in the 2nd division then. So, yeah. So, the ones I want to draw your attention to are, so here we've got total under 23 minutes that he gave. These are players who are 23 years old at the beginning of the season. I could have found out their birthdays and stuff, but I'm not going to do that. That's just long. So there is when they were 23 at the beginning of the season, because that's what FB ref says. But I think it's very interesting to see actually the trends. I think the trends are more important because if you come into a team and you inherit all 28-year-olds, you're not going to play in any under 23s really because you've already got those. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think it's very interesting to see that in his first season at Wolfsburg, the total amount of possible minutes, so that's 11 times the amount of fixtures they play times 90, 13% of them, 13.5% were given to players who are 23 and under at the beginning of the season. But in his second season, that jumped up to 31.46. Same at Frankfurt, it was 27.43 in his first season, and then jumped up to 40% and you can see the amount of minutes there. That's 13,500 minutes he gave to players 23 years and under in his final season at Frankfurt in the league.
Here's a devil's advocate point to this trend.
Mm-hmm.
Could this trend have increased because in the second year of both tenures, he was in European competition, so he may have had a stretch squad, so he might have been forced to do this?
That is a good question. My answer to that would be the Frankfurt first season. That's when they won the Europa League.
Oh, in the first season, okay.
Yeah,
but then in that season, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But I know for a fact in the second season at Wolfsburg, they were in the Champions League.
Yeah, so Wolfsburg were in the Champions League in the second season.
Yeah.
And then Frankfurt were obviously in the Champions League in their second season as well. So, yeah. But I think, and I thought, maybe he just has a young squad. He still has quite a lot of older players there as well, yeah. Who also did get, that's anyone who got basically a minute or more in the league. So what I'm trying to say is he didn't just have a team of young players so that he didn't have a choice. Which I was surprised about because I always had in my head that he always trusted more experienced players. I don't know why I had that, but I think these are, obviously if you want the youth to play, that's a good thing. And And bearing in mind that some of these players were 23 at the time of perhaps the first season and then became 24 in the second season. So obviously he's not going to drop them because they've turned 24. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But that was an interesting thing that I gave. And also so in his second season at Frankfurt, he gave 6 players who are under 23 over 1,000 minutes. So I think 1,000 minutes is about a third of third of all the season. So
that's at least 11 games.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously they play 34 games in the Bundesliga. So that's a third of the games. He gave 6 players that, and 2 of them were under 21. So I think, in my view, I think these numbers suggest that he would be happy to work with younger players, because I think the reason why I had it in my head that he didn't like it was that one of the reasons why he left Frankfurt was because Frankfurt were really insistent on him developing the younger players. But then, is that a case of, they've already got a bad relationship at board level? Is it a case of he wants a mix of both? He wants a mix of experience and youth? Or is it a case of he actually prefers the experience? Looking at this, I'm starting to think it's the first one, that he just wants a mix of both. Because, 40% of all possible minutes. All right, let's say it's even the Europa League. It's 27. To be honest, even 13.5% of all minutes, 4,500 minutes, I don't think is that bad either.
Especially after they won the Europa League as well. That's what? Group stage and then every knockout game as well included. So that could actually be, in theory, 15, 17 games?
Yeah, exactly. And you look at the numbers there. I've got the number of players who he gave minutes to. So there are 8 under 23 players there. There are 8 under 23 players there, and 4 of those players got over 1,000 minutes. So, it's clear that, maybe he wasn't just putting them in for rotation's sake or anything like that. But I thought that was an interesting one to look at. And it actually pleasantly surprised me looking back at it. And also, to be honest, this is going to be a bit of a moan, and it's not really not really that relevant. But the fact that we've only given minutes to, let's include Johnny Williams. To us, include Wilf, 15 players, right? Over how many seasons are we in it now? Is it 12th season now?
Yeah.
So that's just over 1 player a season. Now, bearing in mind, if you're saying one of those is Wilf, one of those is Wan-Bissaka, then you let 2 players who were incredible for their age. And even Johnny Williams, who, barring injuries, probably would have made starts for us in the Premier League. You're looking at about 1 a season. And a lot of those were just subs, at the very end of a singular game. So I think that's bad. And one of the things I think the reason why that might be is that we don't really have stability in what happens in the youth. Because you think about it, right? If you join the youth setup at let's say 12 years old, right? By the time you get to professional football, that's 6 years, right? We could, actually, I've already asked JC this, but JC, what do you think the average tenure of a Crystal Palace manager is since 2010?
It's 2 years, or if you include Roy Hodgson, there's 2 separate managers.
It's less than 2 years. It's 441 days, that's what?
A year and a bit.
Year and 4 months. Now, bearing in mind that we had Roy for 1,344 days, so basically 25% of that
whole sample size.
Yeah, basically. That's pretty mad, really, when you think about it. I
think also with the developing of the youth as well, just very quickly, with the developing of the youth, remember we only got Cat 1 Academy 5 years ago. So that's only for half of that whole time frame. And funny enough, probably our best players came before we became Cat 1 Academy. So
Well, that's the thing. I do genuinely believe the likes of Kaporha, Agbenone, Deveni,
Ratsaki.
Raksaki. I do think that is like the first sort of bunch who
look good.
are kind of exactly, and like kind of benefiting from that Category 1 status. And yeah, it is a really good point. Like it was only it was 5 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly 5 years ago, because Wan-Bissaka's 5-year contract just ran out. That's why he went so cheap. Maybe 4 years then. Probably 4 years, I think.
Can't remember. To be fair, I think you are right. I think you're right first time. I think it is 5 years. But obviously, like we've had to go into the PL Division 2, and then we had to get promoted. So and I
think even though it was Cat 1 Academy for 4 years, I'm sure that it still took another year to build it.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it is really good. I've done the tour actually. It is really good. I recommend anyone doing it. But yeah, I mean, like just going back to the managers, like Neil Warnock, 128 days. Well, let's start. George Burley was the first one, 191 days. Sorry, 198 days. Dougie Freeman, 661. Now, actually, that's a good point. Dougie was the only one who got tapped up by another team. All the others either left or got sacked. So, and then you got Ian Holloway, 354 days. Tony Pulis, 264 days. Alan Pardew was actually the longest after Roy Hodgson, 719 days. Sam Allardyce, 151 days. I thought he was in for longer than that, but there you go. But the thing is, if you don't have that stability, then like you're going to be producing players for all sorts of types of systems. So that's why I think is partially the problem, and I think we just need a bit of stability in that sense, in my opinion. But Durfez is right. Sam Allardyce fake retired.
Yeah, he couldn't be asked to deal with Parish for any longer.
Basically, yeah. Right.
But he knew how to get a tune out of Benteke.
He did, and he was quality that season. 17
goals. Incredible.
Right. I will do the third tweet. The last tweet I'm going to save to the end because it's a bit of a jokey one, I think, to be honest. So I'll save that one to the end. But Alex, thank you for another submission. Looks like you're light on questions. Yeah, we were a bit, but I managed to.
We made our own little segment as well.
Yeah. What player do you feel like is our anti-Kamada? So a player that is good, but that we massively absolve of any wrongdoing. Since Kamada isn't good, and we never absolve him of anything, using stats to prove it. I mean, I think that's quite a hard one to prove by stats. But
so who? I think. That's a tough one. I would probably say this season, probably Mateta, but I don't have to think that's his fault. He's not getting the service that he got last season.
But I think that's what Alex is saying. Like, what player is like playing well, but we kind of always give him a free pass.
Okay, so who gets a free pass?
To be honest, I think this season, like very few. I'm struggling. I think in the second tweet, Alex did say about Mark Gay. And I think, but then because I think I do genuinely think every player has gotten a lot of stick this season. I mean, maybe I think the ones that have gotten the least stick, probably Gay, Munoz,
Lacroix.
Well,
Lacroix's been brilliant though. He's made a mistake, but he's been brilliant.
Yeah. I'm not too sure about that animal, to be honest. Like, I think Eze comes on. I mean,
I think he's one of the most under pressure.
To be honest, I personally, I'm very critical of Eze, and I think
we have been on this channel as well. I'd like to think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Like, I mean, maybe it's just like because we all kind of give criticism to all the players whenever they deserve it. Maybe that's why I'm kind of thinking like that, but I'm struggling to think of like. I think
maybe Henderson.
Oh, but then some of the grief he gets on Twitter, I'm not too sure. Like,
yeah, because I know I'm just thinking the fact that he'll make some unbelievable saves, but the fact he can't kick the ball properly, like there's some points in the game where he'll make an unbelievable save. He'll go out, like, he'll make an unbelievable save. He'll catch the corner, and then he'll boot it straight off the pitch.
Yeah.
Like, something like that, maybe. But,
yeah, I don't know. I mean...
Like, Mitch, like if you go through our starting 11, Henderson gets a lot of stick. Mitchell gets a lot of stick. Gay, Lacroix, don't really get too much stick, but they haven't played that badly this season. Trevor Chalobah hasn't played enough to get enough stick this season.
He will. I think he will soon, though.
Oh yeah, if he keeps dropping stinkers game after game, like Wolves and the last game, then he'll start to get it. But the thing is, though, I don't think that people be quiet about it. I think he's a Chelsea, don't you? Just cuss him anyway.
Yeah.
Munoz, I don't think so, because I think he got a lot of stick at the start of the season because he was awful at the start of the season.
I mean,
Hughes has played well. Decore's hardly played. Lerma's hardly played. Kamada gets a lot of stick as well, so you can't be him. Eze gets a lot of stick. Maybe Sarr?
And I think people have been giving him a bit of grief as well, saying that he's been crap, etc.
And then Nketiah is getting a lot of stick as well.
Yeah.
And then Mateta as well. I don't think anyone gets a free ride in this team, really.
No, that's how bad we've been, isn't it, really?
Everyone's dropped a stinker this year. Everyone.
And everyone's, I would say...
Even Glasner can't even get a free ride, even after he had his amazing season last year. That's how bad we are.
I mean, I think if I had to give an answer, for me, it will either be between Gay or Munoz.
I'll probably give it to Henderson, purely for the fact that he can't kick the ball properly.
Yeah.
And that whenever we try and play out from the back, all of our centre backs try and do everything possible not to pass back.
Yeah. I mean, I know that there was also like a stats element to it, but I thought that's quite difficult. So I'll tell you what, I'll just go through FB Ref and I'll just show people just some maybe stats that you might think, oh, that's what's going on there. So I've got passing stats, completion stats. So, I mean, Mateta plays up front, so that's difficult. So I'll give him that caveat. And Sarr as well. But Tyreek Mitchell on 72%. Eek, that's not great. So
but me personally and chairman, we cuss him because he can't pass properly.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like I'm saying, because I'm bringing up this stat, but then I'm thinking, well, I gave him grief for it anyway. I'm
just seeing words on there now, like maybe Adam Wharton.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh no, yeah. You know what? I'm changing my answer. I think it is Adam Wharton. I'll tell you why. Because there's been a few times this season where I've said he should be doing better than that, and injury is not stopping him from doing that. Like there's been a few times. I think Everton was the one. He passed it straight to we got rid of the corner. Adam Wharton had the ball. He looked up. He saw Eze running down the right wing, and he passed it straight to Harrison, who was standing right in front of him. And then we went, oh, it's Adam Wharton. It's okay. He might be injured, but
Yeah.
I was sitting there saying, an injury is not stopping you from clipping the ball past him. But then other people saying, oh, he's injured. You can't do that. So I'd say Adam Wharton. I changed my answer.
You know what? Actually, that is a good shout. I think as well, because obviously he's been carrying this injury as well.
Yeah.
I think that's probably played into that as well. But yeah, no, that's a good shout, actually.
People are going to sign it off as, he's not playing properly because he's injured. But some of the decision-making is wrong, and decision-making isn't changed by injury.
No, absolutely. Oh, should we go on to our favourite for Crystal Palace? Oh, let's look at the shooting. Oh, my God. Only 2 players have actually got a positive... Oh, and they're both
centre-backs.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Jesus, you know what, Jeffrey Schlupp only having a 0.1 is crazy, by the way.
Yeah, but do you know what? Oh, right, I was going to say he hasn't had any shots, has he? But, I mean, Eze, -2. That is not good.
Time, though.
I tell you what, Munoz, actually, you know what? I think maybe my answer is about right. I mean, I appreciate he is a right wing back, but... There has been some times where he should have done a lot better.
Sarr missing those chances against Wolves is criminal. That's probably why his thing's so high.
Yeah. I think we can have a look, actually. Can you still see that?
No.
Oh, no. I can't bother. Yeah. But, yeah. Jordan Ayew, he only played...
He only played one game.
He didn't even play one game. He played 0.2 of a game. But the ironic thing is we actually do miss him.
Miss him more than Anderson, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I agree with that, to be honest. What else? Maybe take-ons. What's our take-on percentages looking like? Who's turned out badly? I mean, he's only done one, so it's Adam Wharton's only 14%.
Eze is really bad.
35. Yeah. I mean, the thing is this a symptom of them playing bad? Or are they getting ganged up on? I'm not too sure, really. It's hard to say.
And
I mean, Sharp's on 100%, so I think we can bin that one.
And Nketiah's stats are inflated because he doesn't really take people on.
All right, what about? Nah, we'll forget that. Oh, there you go. Actually, miscontrols. There you go. There's a good one.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Eze, that's bad for someone that's.
But then, to be fair, how often do they receive the ball? Like, if they receive it a lot, it might just be because of that, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 300. Yeah, if you. Oh, then again, Munoz got 325.
I mean, Saul's miscontrolling 1 in 10 balls. That's all I'm going to say. That's not right. Actually, Mateta's even less than that. 18, less than 1 in 10.
He's a striker, though.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's more difficult.
And again, though, and again, we're trying to glaze it, saying, "Oh, excuse, he's a striker."
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
should be doing better though. Aerial duels, what we saying?
I tell you who our commander guy is. It's the whole team. Oh, that's stinky from Eze. Look at that.
Ooh, 1 in 20.
Aerial duels 1. Henderson. Is that Henderson that behind your thing? He's 100%.
Yeah, that's like one of those, like, when they
he comes sprinting out of his goal.
Yeah. It's like one of them ones. I mean, I don't know why that's considered an aerial duel, but there you go. God, we really miss Anderson with those 2 headers.
100%.
Who else is bad? Who else is bad on there?
Klein, I guess. Kamada is quite bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough looking at that. That's making me sad. Right.
Let's go into our own little made-up section, and then we'll go into the comments, and then your last comment.
Yeah, let's go. Tweet. Yeah.
So, Dan said to me about 2 hours before we went live, said, a little bit light in questions, but let's talk about a player that we think would be very beneficial to us if we was to get them in January. So we obviously picked out 2 positions, and it's really the same 2 positions that everyone's been talking about: right wing and left back. I'm not going to bore you with making you guys wait about left back because me and Dan both agree it should be Archie Brown.
Archie Brown is so good. Like, I haven't been this sure on me wanting a player for Palace since Adam Wharton. Okay. That is how highly I rate Archie Brown. And I like him so much, I'm actually going to go watch him in the flesh in December.
Why?
Because I'm going to Belgium on holiday, so I wanted to go to a football game. And that was the one I could go to.
Sweet. Well, if you take a Palace shirt and you meet him after the game, you say, "Come on, Palace, mate." We know Archie Brown's good. I've done TACT-EAGLE on him. You've done your little thread on him. Shameless plug.
Wait. Let me get the shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
It's taking ages to load.
Oh, come on, man.
There we go. Shameless plug. Go onto the Twitter, look it up, retweet it, whatever. If you don't like it, don't tell me. Keep that to yourself.
Yeah. I think he's great. How much would you pay for him? Because obviously there was a rumored fee that it was going to be the same as Daniel Munoz, so £8 million. Would you pay the £8 million? And I know you're going to say yes. How much would you spend on him if the price was to, let's say, double? Because it normally does.
Honestly, I think anything up to 20 mil, I think is a good deal. Ty Mitchell isn't what we want. I mean, he might be okay if, say, we're closing out a game and we need a more defensive left wing back or something. But we need a much better left wing back. It just needs to be done. Otherwise, we play too narrow. we got no threat. We got no threat down that side, and it's really easy to defend.
Mm-hmm. I went a little bit off track because I thought that losing Eze means, and he gets injured a lot, means basically we lose almost everything down that left-hand side because of Mitchell as well. So I went for a left wing / left-sided 10 backup, and someone who I actually think is an unbelievable player, but he's hardly ever spoken about. And I'm actually really shocked he still plays for Burnley. I think because of his injuries, that's the only reason why he still plays for Burnley. And that is Luca Koleosho. I think he's brilliant. He does have his injury problems, but I think he's really good and really underrated. Like playing in a championship right now, I think he's got like 2 goals, 1 assist or something like that. Not great numbers, but he causes a lot of problems for people in the Premier League, and he's something that we've just been missing. He's through and through. He carries the ball. He runs with the ball, and that's just what we're missing right now. We said that in our last TACT-EAGLE. So I think that him as a Eze backup, let's say, because Eze's always injured, so he's probably going to get quite a bit of game time. Also playing the cups instead of Eze, give him a rest. So yeah, I think it'll be a very good buy. I don't actually think it'll cost too much. If you used to think of a Eze backup off the top of your head that's not Francois.
But yeah, he is still there. When JC said it to me before the stream, I was surprised he was still there. I mean, can they actually? That's a good question. I'm gonna check what his how much
contract status.
Yeah, that's what I'm just about to check. Because this is one of the things I always try to take into account, like when I do my thing. So, 2029.
Oh, yeah, big money.
Still, though, I mean, they only bought him for 3 million. So, I guess I think maybe depends on if we want January.
Mm-hmm. And also, do they have sell-on clauses as well?
I mean, a backup for Eze.
Oh wow, Durfers! I forgot this guy existed. I can't even lie to you. Is he even playing for Rennes? I don't
think he is. Because I haven't really got anyone as a backup, but I've got ones in mind for that right side.
0 appearances. He hasn't even stepped on the pitch. Oh man.
But yeah, I haven't really got.
Side.
Yeah, I mean the right side. I mean, I still don't really understand why we didn't go for a Bakayoko, to be honest, because Bakayoko plays on both sides, so I don't really understand why we didn't go for him.
I don't quite understand why it was said that we would go for him if Eze left. We should have went for him anyway.
Yeah,
you had him and Eze, it'd be brilliant. You had the same, not. He had the same profile as Michael. Why would you not want to have him? I guess the same profile as Michael and Ebbs in the same team, a left-footed, right-sided player. He can play on the left, he can play through the middle, but he prefers the right. So why wouldn't you try and get them both at the same time? But it was rumored that he turned down Ipswich and a few other teams because he wanted to play European football. You maybe say, maybe we go in for him for big money in January because we've got a lot of money left in our pocket for the sales that we've made. However, PSV are doing very well in the Champions League, so I don't think he's going anywhere. But I've gone with 2 others, which I do think could be maybe a little bit more believable. I think the first one isn't really believable. Dan, what was his name again? I can't remember. I can't remember how you said it.
Oh, Ali Kouch, the Monaco guy.
Ali Kouch is the first one. I think he's a lot like Michael as well, left-footed, right-sided player. Quite technical on the ball. Nowhere near as good as Michael, but he's still very good. He'll do bits for us still. Obviously, Dan was telling me about this earlier. Upset that Ryan Cherky's now started playing for Lyon because he would have been brilliant for the quoted price of 14 million. But I think the one that I think would actually be very good for us and not cost too much is Morgan Whittaker. Very fast, likes to run in behind, had a few years in the Championship as well. 23 years old. I don't actually know what his contract is saying. Let me just double check it. Morgan Whittaker, 27, so not too many years on him.
Yeah, actually, I think Animal's got a good shout as well.
I spoke about McAtee in Transfer Weekly, but he's more of like an Eze type on the other side. I think you need I don't think you can have two I don't think you can have 2 Ezes in one team. I don't think that would work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think with Munoz being so good at underlapping, I think we do need someone who is kind of like that player who will stick to that touchline, cut inside, and then, and then they can interchange however they see fit or whatever. But I really wanted Ryan Cherky just because he's so both-footed. Like
he can literally play across the front three. He can play left wing, centre, and on the right.
Yeah. And I've never seen a more two-footed. I haven't actually seen a more two-footed player probably since Cazorla. That's how two-footed this guy is. I mean, all the ones I did in my threads have now been snapped up, so people have been watching. But yeah, like El Canus, I really wanted, but yeah.
Oh well.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I think as an absolute minimum, I think Archie Brown that just needs to happen. Like, because I know we were linked as well. I think that just needs to happen. So, but yeah, no, I think those are good shouts actually. Morgan Whitaker, Ali Kush, yeah.
I mean, if we sold Croydon and half of London, you could get Lamine Yamal.
Maybe if we trick him with the try and tell him that his Palace kit's a Barcelona kit, maybe. But
yeah, a little bit of the parish way, maybe not the Palace way.
Parish way, God. Let's set about him about. Right, let's go back to our comments. So I'll just go through some comments and then I'll come back to questions in a second. Hughes is a different level from Kamada. Yeah, I agree. I think Hughes has been quality this season. He's as one-footed as Ty. I'm not too sure, can't remember who that's in for. We're going to do a personal Q&A in the future, so ask us any questions. This is the longest been in Spain without the S. Yep, we are in pain at the moment. That's all I can say. Right, we'll come back to this question in a minute. Why on Edouard being better than Nketiah? I mean, I like Edouard, but I think Nketiah is a better. I think he's just trying a bit too hard at the moment, in my opinion. What's our probability of relegation at the moment? 75%. No, can't be, can it? I'm not too sure what it'd be. Right, and in relation to that, I was going with 3 of the 4: Southampton, Ipswich, Wolves, us. Could be Leicester. To be fair, like they've done all right, but you wonder like if their goals dry up, they're not going to be in a good place. We deserve to be relegated by poor decisions over by the board over the years. Mateo was on a streak last season. Main problem is a lack of depth. I agree. And there's a lot more questions. For the sake of time, I'm going to go back to Chairman's question. We have 3 great centre halves, great wing back, good full back, and a decent keeper. Why can't we keep a clean sheet? What do you think, JC?
I think it's very, very, very simple. Injuries in the midfield and not having a stable midfield. So at the start of the season, we're saying we don't have stable centre backs. We haven't played the same back 3 in the first 8 games. Now we have a stable back 3. Now we're seeing that those 3 as individuals are brilliant at defending. Now you have to do that same criticism that we had on our back line, now put it into the midfield. We've only played the same midfield twice this season.
Really?
Every single other time it's been something different. It's been Hughes Kamada, Hughes Wharton, Wharton Kamada. It's just been some, and then who was it? It was Deveni. Who was it? Deveni Kamada, right?
Mm-hmm. He started in the middle. It wasn't.
He started in the middle.
Didn't start there, did he?
Mark.
Got Mark Gay,
Mark.
yeah, Gay.
Mark Devaney. Devaney Decore. Devaney Kamada. We haven't played the same midfield two all season, mostly twice this season. That's Wharton Hughes is the one who played the most. Lerma Hughes. Like, we haven't been consistent in the midfield. So we got our consistent base at the back. We haven't had a consistent base in front of them to screen them, to protect them, to then bridge the attack. It's the same thing. That's why we're still conceding goals. You can't just say, oh, your defenders, you defend, your midfielders, you attack. That's not how it works. Midfielders have to defend as well. That's how football works. And the only way you can build a full, solid defense is if the midfield and the defenders are all working together. But because we've been so unreliable with our midfielders in the whole season, and we've only got the centre backs done now, that's why we're still conceding goals, even though we've got a great backline. It's because the midfield isn't reliable and isn't comfortable because they're not playing regular games with each other, and that is purely down to injuries.
Absolutely, and I think like when you have that disruption, like in game itself, you know, say the midfielders bypassed, you know, the centre backs have got to step out of line. That leaves gaps. Because of the way we attack, we've probably got either Mitchell or Munoz somewhere up the pitch. And yeah, I mean, you know, it doesn't take a genius to work out if you get past that midfield, then we're a bit screwed, really.
And then the only time we've seen Wharton Decore was when Decore came on against Chelsea. And how good did we look in that second half when he came on?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we look quality. And also another thing as well, I think because of the way things have been, also our press hasn't been very good. And I think because our press hasn't been very good, our turnovers in their third hasn't been very good. And obviously, if you're not disrupting that build up, then they're going to have more goes at us. Actually, I don't know what our percentage. Actually, let's have a look. I can't remember what our possession percentage is, but we don't keep the ball as much as we did before. Which obviously, you know, if you don't keep the ball as much, there's going to be more tax on you. And if we're a bit ropey defensively, then you know that's going to not be a good time. But yeah. But right, next question. Let me see. Where was the next one? I like this one. Big up, Ali. What is Schlupp's best position? For me, is either on the bench or maybe at the end of the buffet.
What part of the buffet? Main course, dessert?
No, I think he puts loads of meat on his plate so he can get his money's worth.
That's a proper all you can eat right there.
Yeah.
He's seasoned in these streets.
He used to have a Cosmo Club card. Does Holding make that Lacroix error on Saturday? You know what? I don't think he does. I think what Rob Holding does is that he turns around, kicks it at Henderson, and it goes top bins. I think that's what happens.
Yeah, and he says, "Bun you, Glasner."
Yeah, he just puts his middle fingers up at Glasner and just walks off the pitch.
Yeah. Or he'll pick up the ball in the spot where Lacroix gets the ball, and instead of making the error, he'll start promoting the Turkish hairline revival thing that he's all over. Have you seen that?
No.
So he's allowed himself to be the face of an advert that restores people's hairlines. So he'll just start promoting his products. Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Wow.
Yeah. I would say that is the second greatest hairline comeback. The first one's got to be Townsend, isn't it? That is incredible. Bald head to a full afro. That's crazy.
Oh, Rooney, I think, is a good contender in there as well.
Yeah. He's also a buffet merchant as well. Have you seen him lately?
He's also someone else, but I won't say it. Animal, has Glasner been sold short with the signings? You know what? I don't think there's a more obvious answer on this planet, and the answer is yes.
It one, the signings, two, the quality of certain signings in the positions they were, and I think three, the most important one, is the time they were done. Most of our signings happened 4 games into the season. So
Yeah.
they've had no preseason and no chance to adjust to Glasner's system. And I think
And
that's the best and shortest answer we can give.
Yeah, and I think Glasner did have a moan about it, rightly, in my opinion.
Quite a few times.
I'm going to be positive about our actual transfers that we did do. Okay, bear with me, guys. Stick with me on this. Okay, I understand why we signed Nketiah. The reason why is Jean-Philippe Mateta's contract runs out in 2026. If he has a good year this year, he probably won't want to be playing for Palace. And so therefore will want to move on to pastures green. And, you know, he won't sign the contract. He won't do the boom celebration anymore. You know, he held that against us. So
he did it late. He did it the other day.
He did. He's gotten over it. He's gotten
Contract's
all of his
done.
He's gotten
the
all the
back.
He's gotten all the toys back in the pram. Yeah. So I think that's why we got Nketiah, actually. I think, you know, we've gotten Edouard out the door. Mateta was possibly going to leave. And then we brought in Nketiah for big money. And to be fair, I think Nketiah is a good player. I think he's just trying a bit too hard at the moment. But I think over time, I think that'll be okay. He's definitely not a right-sided attacking 10. That needs to be bent.
He's the kind of guy you need to give him the ball in the box and then he'll finish it.
Absolutely.
That's what kind of drag he is.
And Sarr, I think, I mean, we miss IU for several things. I'm not going to say we don't. But in my opinion, Sarr is more like an IU type player. Sarr, in my opinion, should be and only should have been, and possibly was meant to be, a squad player, a player who does come on, say, in the 70th minute just to give a different option or something like that. In my opinion, that's all he should have been. And maybe that's what Dougie thought. I don't know. I think the whole nonsense about splitting, you know, Kamada and Sarr, that splitting Elise's traits, I think that's a money-saving nonsense, in my opinion. I think it's just an excuse. That's my opinion.
I think that the reason we got Kamada is because we thought that Eze was going to go. Yeah,
I think so. And then we got Kamada, Bakayoko. And I think is with Sarr as well. I think if we properly replaced Elise, I don't think Sarr would be looking as bad as it is. I mean, I don't think he's played terribly, but obviously he's not an Elise replacement. So that's why I said, like, I think the ones that have come, it's not too bad. And obviously Lacroix's been great. Kamada's been terrible so far, but yeah, we'll see. Sending Ozo out on loan when Decoro's long-term absentee. Yeah, maybe that's not great. But then I suppose
Ozo's injured now.
Yeah, Ozo's injured now actually, and I guess you could argue maybe Devaney was always that one that they thought maybe in this situation he was going to be the guy. I don't know, but certainly in that first sentence, yeah, absolutely sold short. And we're sitting here literally saying like we want a left wing back and we want 10s. Right, next questions. I think there's only like one or two more.
UK Pat here says Rob Holding is rumoured to have been kicked out of a Witherspoons.
Pat, are you even old enough to go to a Wetherspoons?
Mitch here says Holden doesn't make the error because he doesn't even know where Sellers Park is.
That's actually true as well. Right.
Final tweet.
Yeah, let's go for the final tweet. So this one's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, so bear with us. Just bear with a little bit. When does the European push start? And you know what? Actually, I took this
today.
I took this tweet seriously, right? And do you know why I took it seriously?
Because Bournemouth.
Well, partially Bournemouth, but also I've already got a spreadsheet that talks about this.
Boo.
Spreadsheet
friends.
So let me just show you my spreadsheet first, and then we'll move on.
I can't believe this comment has got a spreadsheet out of it. This is outrageous.
Can you
Perfect
see
for
that?
next season.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, you're probably thinking, what on earth is this? So, as you can see, I did this a while ago because not even 23, 24 has been done. But basically, these are the points of every team that every team got. So, first place got 89 points that season, 93. Seventh place got that, etc. So, the European places are obviously these ones. Now, focus your eyes. Not that much. Focus your eyes on these bits. So first, second, third, fourth. These are basically the amount of points you would need on average to finish in those positions. So seventh, sixth, fifth, etc. So the average, right, you would need to finish. Oh, whoops, was that seventh? Yeah, that was seventh. The average you would need to finish seventh, right, was 57 points. Okay. So what is the table now? So I've just typed in table and it brought up loads of IKEA stuff.
So we need to make 50 points from now to the end of the season.
Yeah, and that's 27 games. So 50 divided by 27, we would need to average 1.85 points a game, which, as you can see by the bottom here, is roughly what you would be if you were third. If you were, basically like Liverpool.
So we have to be the best team in the country from now to the end of the season to just get into the conference.
Third best, actually.
Oh,
just third best.
Okay,
just third best.
Okay, we have to be Arsenal then.
Yeah. And, just since we're looking here, 20th, 19th, 18th.
Yeah, you could stay up by getting 1.13 points a game.
Oh, easily, yeah. I mean, the lowest ever you could stay up by just getting 0.73.
Chairman says Europeans push starts in June when we all go on holiday.
Yeah, my European tour's next month when I go to Bruges. But yeah, that was just something I wanted to show you. And actually, since you alluded to it, I will talk about Bournemouth. So here's a really good website that I found, actually, which I think everyone will find interesting. It's not a spreadsheet. Actually, no, it is a spreadsheet, actually. It is actually a spreadsheet.
Statman's gone wild.
PL table by. Can you see how happy I am?
Yes.
Right, anyway. So this is a final thing that I will say. It's been banging on a little bit. So this is a Premier League table by date range, which I think is really cool. I don't know why that's like that, but so you can do any. So let's say, because we're talking about Bournemouth, so let's do last season, so 2023 to the equivalent of now. So what's it, the 12th? I'll just do like the 11th, just because. So basically, at this point, wait, am I doing that right? No, 2024 in it would be. Sorry, no, it is right. It is right. Sorry. So if you do it on that day, it basically gets all the information. So we were 11th at this point. Yay. Look at Bournemouth. They had 6 points by this point, so one less point than us. However, by the end of the year, so the 31st of December, they have moved up to 13th. I know it doesn't sound that amazing, but all I'm saying, they got 2 games in hand there as well over the mid-table. Could very easily have ended up in the top half. So yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not all doom and gloom. I appreciate we are playing rubbish, but all it takes is one good run. In fact, actually, you know what? Do you remember when we beat Liverpool? Actually, JC, was it? I know it was April, but was it?
I'll find it for you.
Thank you. So let's do it from when we.
It was.
I think it was April, wasn't it? Oh, it was the April 14th because it was Duda's birthday, actually.
Yeah.
So it was that to, let's say,
April
whoops.
14th, Sunday.
Sorry, I'm doing this wrong way around. So April 14th, 2024 to June 23. Just so that's the table. That's the Premier League table up until we were losing. Sorry, until we beat. Sorry. Actually, let me do the day before. Sorry,
that was
wrong one.
Vieira's last game.
What?
So before the Liverpool game, that was just before. Or was that no? That was Glasner's already.
No, sorry, it's Glasner. So I'm doing it. So this is up to we beat Liverpool under Glasner. So we were 5 points off the drop. We're on 30 points, 15th. No good.
Yeah, 31 games played as well.
31 games played, so only 7 games left of the season.
And then at the end,
what do we go and do? Wait, hang on a minute. Why has that gone like that?
Because you've only gone for 13 days. You've gone. Oh no.
What?
What have you done?
I don't know.
Oh, go to the end of June.
But there's no games in June. What the hell? I swear this worked the other day.
Well, basically, we finished the season on 49 points, so we got one more win. That last game, we got a win.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't. Yeah, so 49 points. We ended up 10th. You know, a lot of things can change in 8 games. Okay.
100%.
But yeah. So, is there anything? What else are we doing this week again? We're doing.
So Thursday we'll be doing a full loan watch. So we'll be actually going in depth and talk about how our loans are doing. Should we bring them back? Are they injured or not? You know what their performances are looking like. So that's what Thursday will be, and then Sunday will be in real life football thing, Power League.
Nice.
Where you're gonna watch Nicky run, and that's what I've been laughing at the whole time in editing it. I
didn't know that was possible. Sorry, Nicky.
He's not watching. Don't worry.
Right. Is there anything else you want to say, or
up the Palace, isn't it?
Wait, hang on. Sorry, I haven't got it. Just a second. So, JC, is there anything else you want to say?
Up the bloody Palace.
Up the Palace. Eagles.